Hello, welcome to the last video in this overhelping series. I'm going to talk about 5 ways that you and I can stop being over-responsible, over-helping people. And the last one, number 5, is a bit more personal, but it can apply to everybody. Have you ever seen a butterfly trying to get out of its cocoon, get out of the chrysalis? I think I've seen it once, a long time ago. What do they tell you about trying to help the butterfly? If you help a butterfly get out of the chrysalis, it can be permanently, or it probably will be permanently disabled. It might never even fly. If you help a butterfly, it results in shriveled wings, a swollen body, and it usually cannot fly. So overhelping isn't just harmful to you, the overhelper. It can be harmful to the people you're trying to help. And like I've said before in other videos, helping is awesome. Helping is great. For me, I realized that I had become over-responsible for others and over-helping, which really has hampered my life in a lot of ways. So I'm walking through this series for myself and also for anyone who might do that too. So maybe it can help you. Well, the first thing, number 1, is ask. Don't assume that your help is needed. Actually ask the person. Don't just step in. Don't assume your assistance is necessary or even good, right? It might not be necessary. The person might have a plan. They might be able to handle it themselves. For example, maybe someone's moving and you have a truck and a trailer and you just kind of say, sure, yeah, before they even ask, I'll help you move. I'll show up, and you just show up, and you just, maybe they had someone else they were going to ask. Sometimes people aren't bold enough to say no. And I know that myself, so I can kind of understand it from the other side too. Well, sometimes your help might not be necessary, might not be wanted, and it might not even be good. Not all helping is good. That's number 1, ask. Number 2 is heal yourself. This is probably the most important one because this overhelping comes from a place of needing to help, of being unhealed. We need to take responsibility for our past, for our mistakes, and be willing to learn. Ask yourself, or I've learned to ask myself, why am I doing this? What is it in me that feels the need to help in this way? Why am I being over-responsible? And that can really indicate a wounded place, an empty place, something that you've struggled with. And for me, I've just recently figured out that the wounded place, one of the wounded places in me, is that I was never really helped. And I had never really thought about that before, but I started trying to think of stories about when I was over-helped, when someone was over-responsible in my life. And yeah, there's lots of cases where people have tried to be over-responsible in telling me what to do or telling me how I should live my life, more of a boundary situation. But I have always been kind of on my own. And there was a lot of scary times, a lot of lonely times, a lot of mistakes. So sometimes I think maybe I overhelp. I tend to do that because I'm trying to save a part of myself that really needed help and never really got it. Something to think about. So that's number 2. Physician, heal thyself, as the saying goes. Number 3, fix your own fences before looking for things to fix on someone else's property. Sometimes we help other people and we're over responsible for others because there's something we're avoiding that we don't really want to deal with in our own lives. You know, maybe if you take the metaphor of property, maybe your shingles need to be replaced, or your fence is falling down, or your shed is badly in need of repair, something like that. And you just don't want to deal with it. And you know what's easier? To notice things in other people's yards that you could help. Maybe someone needs a tree cut down, and so you're over there like a dirty shirt. Let me do it. I'll help. And it's so much more fulfilling sometimes to be there for other people and help them with their problems. And it makes us feel like we're doing something worthwhile and we don't have to face our own issues. So that could be a whole video in itself, right? But number 3 is fix your own fences. What glaring reality or persistent problem are you ignoring while you're busy taking responsibility for the problem of another? So, yeah. Number 4, get counsel. This is probably the hardest one for me. Get some counsel. Ask your friends, family members that you trust, people that you trust, that you know have your best interest at heart. Should I be doing this? Ask them. Do you think this is a good idea? Should I help so-and-so with this or that? And the hardest part of that, listen to their advice. Their advice might be the railing that keeps you from running off a cliff. Accountability is like that barrier. And I wish that I had asked people to help me with this. I wish that I had reached out and listened. And sometimes when I think of situations where I was obviously overhelping and no one called me on it, it makes me wonder about my relationships a little bit. It makes me wonder, you know, how I was presenting myself. And I think I was probably far too aggressive, far too sure of myself. And so no one dared to say, have you thought about what you're doing? My husband dared to say it. And he was right. And it took me a long time to hear him through the confusion and fog of my own, I don't know, the mists of my own confusion. So that's number 4, get counsel. And the last one, number 5, stay close to Jesus. This is the one I was talking about as being more personal. And it's more personal in that it's more spiritual. But I think you can take something from it, no matter where you are on your spiritual journey. But for me, having a relationship with Jesus as a Christian, I need to stay in step with him. Don't run out ahead of him. Don't linger behind, but keep in step. And when I think about it, if I had been close enough to him to really hear his voice, it could have saved me a lot. And I'm hoping it saves me a lot of trouble in the future by listening to his voice when he says, wait, when he says, be patient, when he says, not yet, when he says, I have a plan, right? Because I always have a plan. And sometimes I'm, tapping my foot, drumming my fingers on the table going, okay, God, where's your plan? Because nothing seems to be happening. And I need to wait on him and keep in step with him. We call this keeping in step with the Spirit. The Holy Spirit of God speaks to us, speaks to our hearts. So when you think about a situation that might appear to be from God, it can kind of be like an illusion or a mirage. Travelers in the desert, when they see this mirage of a beautiful oasis and they're so thirsty, and so they run toward it. And if we keep in step with Jesus, he can tell us when the water is real and when it's just a mirage. He can let us know if the situation is real. And I used to think that some of the big situations in my life where I was over helping and got myself in trouble being over responsible for others, I used to think, God, you didn't tell me. I prayed to you and I'm sure you said this, and I saw these signs and it made perfect sense to me. And I realized that I was just projecting onto God what I wanted him to say, right? And it's hard to admit that. It really is, because it just is. I want to think I have more discernment than that. I want to think I'm a better listener than that. So keeping in step is the last one that I could think of. If we stay close to the truth, the way, and the life, Jesus calls himself. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. If we are close to the truth, then we won't be led astray as easily by manipulative people, narcissistic people, our own desires, because we can hear him. We're listening. Wisdom doesn't walk alone. And I think that's the bottom line, is what I've learned from being an overhelper is real wisdom does not isolate, doesn't separate, asks for help, asks for counsel, asks the person that you want to overhelp if they need your help, and just be in touch with what's going on inside. Heal yourself. All of those things are really important. So I hope that this has been helpful, that you've learned something. I mean, we all do this, especially as parents. That's the hardest thing for me right now. But I remember when my kids were little, and say you're on the soccer field and you keep trying to help them get the goal, and they never really learn to make a goal themselves, or they're learning to ride their bike, and instead of being willing to let go of that seat and let them maybe fall down on the grass, you just keep holding on and helping them, and then it takes them too long to learn to ride their bike. And there's times when we have to help. There's times when we got to hold on to that bike seat and give them a little more time. Maybe we're trying to rush the situation. Maybe someone genuinely needs help and we are the one to give it. And so what I'm talking about here is that over helping, when you're doing too much and it's hurting you, it's hurting other people, it's destroying your relationships, it's ruining your life. And we need to stay in our own lane, stay in our own property, so to speak, take care of the things that we are supposed to be taking care of, the people we're supposed to be taking care of, and leave the rest. It's not our job. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me, going through this series. I hope that if you have a situation in your life where you're feeling over responsible, or you know you're over helping someone and it's hurting you, it's stressing you out, it's destroying your relationships, that you will just back up, take a deep breath, and stop, and maybe go over these 5 things and see if any of them can be helpful. So first, ask. Second, heal yourself. Third, fix your own fences. 4, get counsel. And 5, keep in step with Jesus. All right, this has been good for me. I'm really grateful to anyone who's watched these, and I'm I'm looking forward to what comes next. But for now, this has been the Overhelping series. My name is Pam. Thank you for coming along, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.